Just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a friend about my progress on eBay and my journey. I was telling him about how I then made about £4,000 selling on the platform. He was obviously interested as a 20-year-old student like me and wanted to join in, so I told him about everything that I know so that he could hopefully start his eBay journey. Flash forward a couple of months and it was yesterday and we were talking about our eBay progress. At the time, I had then made about £8,000 worth of revenue. Admittedly, this isn't all profit, but it's not a bad amount nevertheless. So then we get onto his store and I ask him, how many items have you sold and how much have you made? And he says, nobody wants to buy anything. I've only sold about 5 items in 3 months. Now he has the same problem that many people have when beginning. They don't know why their sales are slow. So from a beginner to somebody who has been able to scale their store to 90 sales a month in just 3 months, I want to tell you about how to increase your sales and why your sales are so slow to begin with. This is intended for people who actually want to take eBay selling seriously. So if it's a case of you want to list 1 or 2 items, this video is not for you. This video is for people like myself who want to start an eBay business but don't know how to go about it. Let's jump in. So I want to talk about the biggest error that people make when starting their reselling journey and why their items do not sell. One of the biggest and most overlooked areas is inactivity on the platform. People don't understand how significant this is. If you want to see your eBay store growing every single day, you have to be listing as much as you can. I would personally recommend at least once a day, but aiming for up to 3 to 5 times a day. At first, this doesn't seem like something that makes sense, but think about it. eBay wants to award the sales to the people who give the best customer service, and those people are often the ones that are going to be on the platform long enough, responding to messages, listing new items, and taking care of their customers. So if you're not on the platform for long enough doing the right things, you will probably not get as many sales as somebody like me who lists at least 5 items a day. Adding on to that, there is then the amount of things you have in your store. Admittedly, this part can be challenging, especially for a beginner without much money, but you have to list as many things as possible. Think about it as a rate. If I have 1 thing in my store, the likelihood of that selling is quite low. So the chance that I'll make a sale per day if I only have 10 things in my store, it is quite unlikely that I'll consistently get 10 sales or 1 sale a day because I only have 1 item listed. And even if I have a brand new item and I've listed multiple quantities of the same thing, I still don't have much selection because if 1 item sells, it's highly unlikely that the same item is going to sell on the same day if it's the only thing I have in my store. Now me, for example, I'm trying to list as much stuff in my store as possible. Right now I'm getting to a point where I'm making a minimum of about 5 sales a day, and I have over 200 items listed in my store, and I'm trying to up that by 5 at least every day. If I want to sell at least 1 item a day, let's say, I should aim to have at least 100 items in my store, and that is a very low conversion rate. But that's really what you need to do. You need to have as much variety as possible. And I want to kind of make this make sense. Think about it as when you walk around a shop. If you walk around a shop like Tesco's, which is a supermarket in the UK for those who don't know, Tesco's has everything. It has fruit, vegetables. Most Tesco's now even have home produce. Think about how many items go into a Tesco store, which means that so many people shop there, which is why it's one of the most successful supermarkets in the whole UK. Now imagine if you went to Tesco's and they only sold carrots. You wouldn't really be buying much from there. In fact, you probably wouldn't even shop there to begin with because they don't have anything else that you want. If I can list as many items as possible, even if they're in the same category, that's going to be beneficial. So list frequently and list quality items and list as many items as you can. You have to list as frequently as you can, but if you are listing well, if you've got hundreds of items in your store and still nothing is selling, why might that be? And the only thing that I can think of then is the quality of the item, the quality of the listing, and the actual price. Think about it and tie it all in together. If you have an item that's good, very good, but the price is too high, let's say I get this watch here, which I know is worth between say 20 and 30 pounds, and I list it on my store for 250 pounds, and then I come back saying, why am I getting no sales? It should be obvious. No one's going to buy a 20 to 30 pound watch for 250 pounds. They're just not going to do it because it doesn't make sense. The same's true for anything. If I have a jacket that's worth 30 pounds, I'm not going to get 70 pounds for it. If I have a book that's worth 10 pounds, I'm not going to get 50 pounds for it, unless there's some absolute rare circumstance why that would be the case, like a limited edition game or something like that. Don't expect your standard items to sell for way over market value. That's just not how the game works. Also, do everything that you can to make your listings as good as possible. We're talking quality titles, quality photos, and quality descriptions. All of these things help, because if you have the items listed in the first place, you're already on a good spot, but then you need to get people to actually click on them. Now, what your click-through rate and ultimately your sell-through rate is something that you'll have to work on based on your category and obviously how you want to run your business, because everybody has an individual business model, right? Especially when it comes to eBay. People think eBay is a business model. It is and it isn't. I can have loads of different store types. I can sell one item a month for £1,000 profit, or I can sell 1,000 items a month for £1 profit. These are all going to be different business models because they obviously reflect on the way that I run the business. But that is the biggest couple of mistakes that I make summarized. Just imagine, you think you're going to make 1 sale a day or 10 sales a day, or my friend who thought he was going to make the same amount as me, a couple of thousand a month, when in actuality that's not going to be possible, because if you're anything like him, which many beginners are, and I actually was a couple of months ago, you do a couple of things. You list 10 items in your store, say you have a nice variety, and sit back and expect the sales to roll in. And you will get a couple of sales, but you're not going to be getting anything like me or somebody even way more advanced than me who gets, say, 100 sales a day. That's because they've got hundreds of items listed. Not every item is going to have a 100% sell-through rate, so you have to have as many items listed as possible and try and make them all high quality. Now, yes, this does come with new challenges. Sourcing, keeping stock of inventory full stop, and obviously making sure you're delivering on time and making sure you can deliver in appropriate ways. But all of these mistakes are things that I see people making so commonly, and if my friend made it, I made it as well. There's a high chance that you are going to be making it in the beginning. You need to make your listings as appealing as possible, and you need to have as many as you can. How you actually finance this and how you actually run this is completely up to you. That's on you. But the biggest mistake that I see, again, is people just not listing the items and not understanding why they're not going to sell. List as many items as you can, guys. It's important. Because one thing that you'll notice if you check your analytics, and I recommend for a beginner, or actually everybody, do keep in touch with your analytics. They're very important. When you check your analytics, you're probably going to have one of two scenarios. You may have a store like mine currently, where I'm seeing every single day my analytics are moving a bit like this. They're going up and up and up. Slowly, but they are moving in the right direction. But I've seen opposite analytics, specifically when I looked at my friends, and I tried to explain to him why this is. They were going like this. And the reason for this is, he listed on this day, and he didn't list, and he didn't list, and he didn't list, and every single day, eBay gave him less attention because his listings were less and less worthy, because if this guy's not even been on the platform in a couple of days, who's to say that when that sale comes in, he's even going to recognize it? So that's a few tips that I would do to increase your sales. List more items, list the best items, list items at the best prices, offer the best customer service, offer the best shipping policies, returns rates, all that kind of stuff which is going to make your listings stand out. So if I was just starting out again, these are the things that I would do. Hopefully this can help you guys. As I've said before, I am no expert. I just wanted to share a little bit of knowledge which I have gained, and it obviously has made a big difference with my sales in the past month alone going up to 90 from 60. It's looking like they're just going to continue to increase as time goes on. So thank you so much for joining me. If you want to keep in touch with my journey and see how my eBay store goes over time, I recommend that you subscribe, as I do love sharing these sorts of videos with you guys. Thank you so much for watching till the end though, and I hope to see you in our next one.